fire. Hi, everybody. I am Leslie Kuster, and welcome to She Rises. I am the CEO of Back from Bali, a women's clothing brand that you could find on Amazon. And I'm also the best-selling author of 7 Keys to 7 Figures, the Women Entrepreneur's Guide to Money and Freedom. And I give away on my website a free resource list. So definitely go check out Back from Bali and also lesliekuster.com and get your free resource list. So today I'm really excited. I have with us today the woman who is responsible that my book did become a bestseller on Amazon in a few different categories. And today she's going to teach us and show us and tell us how that actually gets done. So before I bring her on, I'm just going to introduce her. Patti is a book marketer and a passionate advocate for entrepreneurs, influencers, and coaches. She has a talent for helping leaders leverage the power of their book to boost credibility and grow their audience. As a marketing expert, Patti specializes in guiding her clients through the entire journey from planning and promoting to launching their book and beyond. And I am beyond excited to have her today on She Rises. So with that, I would love to bring on Patti Zorr. Hi, Patti. I'm so happy you're here today.
Hi, Leslie. Yes, thank you for having me. And I wanted to mention something about Back from Bali real quick before we get started.
Oh, okay.
So as part of your advanced reader campaign for your book launch, you gave your advanced readers one of your sarongs. And I have one and I wore it all summer. And I get so many compliments every time I wear it. And I'm so excited to say, oh my gosh, this was one of my clients. We launched her book and she owns Back from Bali, and go check it out on Amazon. And I just get so excited. So
I love that. That's so great. And that actually leads straight into the whole thing because, and you're going to explain it. All right. First of all, I just want to tell everybody that when I wrote my book, that part I did. And that part really came very easily to me. But I had no clue of how you're supposed to market a book or launch a book, sell a book, or get these bestseller things or whatever. So I started to look online and research and ask people, like, what in the world do you do? And as it turns out, you do what I recommend to all entrepreneurs. You hire the best people to show you and guide you on how you do it. And that's how I found Patti Zorr. So I hired her and then she took me through the stages. So I'm going to leave it to you now, Patti, and maybe just share what is the first thing someone should do when they're about to release their book to Amazon?
Yeah. Well, listen, a couple things to think about too, as an author, you're an expert in what you do. And especially, if you're writing a book in the nonfiction space, I know that nonfiction authors, they just want to share their knowledge with everybody. They want to teach their people everything that they know so that life will be easier for them and they don't have to go through the same struggles you went through. And but that being said, you're often not a marketer, right? That's not your specialty a lot of times. And it'd be like me trying to jump in and get into, women's retail. And, I would not know the first thing to do, right? I would need to hire a coach, someone to help me walk me through it, right? How do you even get product on Amazon? Right? I mean, that alone probably takes months of education, but working with somebody like you who's already done it can definitely cut that time. I'm sure in half, if not even more than that. So that's a great way to think about a book marketer. For anyone listening who is currently writing a book, a couple things to think about before we even start the actual book launch marketing and promotion piece is don't forget your book is a tool. It's a sales tool for you. Your book itself is an actual marketing tool. And so, obviously, you want to give value and you want to share your knowledge as you're writing your book, but don't forget, it's also a sales tool for you. And I have your book here. And one of the things that we did in your book, because when we started working together, you were going through the editing process. You pretty much had the book written, but we were just editing. And I said, oh, one thing I'd love to be able to do is just to offer additional value to your readers. One, it gives a little bit of surprise and delight, and it helps build trust. But more importantly, what it's really doing is building your email list so that you can really connect and go deeper with your readers.
Right.
What we did is we dropped a QR code in your that we have our phones with us everywhere, and thanks to COVID we know how to use QR codes now. So in there you have a simple call to action, and we scan the QR code, and then the reader is taken to a page that gives the reader additional bonuses that help complement their reading. So as you're talking about resources and tools, you provided all of that in one place, in addition to meditation videos, the same one that you use to build your multi-million dollar business. And so just something to think about as you're writing, or if you've already written your book and you're in the editing phase, think about what tools and resources could you offer to your readers that will really help them take those next steps. Right? Because we read a book and we finish a book, and now it's up to the reader to go forth and take action. So the idea is that those resources, it could be content that's already created. You don't have to create all new content. Sometimes you may create some new content, but yeah, just how can you help those readers, your readers, take those next steps to achieve the same success you've reached? So put a QR code inside the book. You're giving value, you're building trust, and you're building your email list.
That's a great point. And I remember first hearing this, like, make sure you put a QR code or whatever, email or whatever, but QR code these days is better, inside the book. And I never thought to do that before. But if you think about it, like what you just said really makes so much sense. The book is really a sales tool, and it's not only the book and what you did and everything you wrote, but it's like what the book will be able to do for you, like in the future, if you want to go into consulting or coaching or speaking or just inspiring or whatever it is that you want to do. So we did do that. We created a QR code. We stuck it inside, I think, the beginning and the end of the book. And interestingly, just yesterday, I thought, wow, okay, so I now have people who did the QR code join it. So I now have access to that group of people, and that group of people, I sent them a specific email to just yesterday. So you really can then start really communicating with your readers. So I love that you suggested that. So thank you.
Yes, yeah. And you might be thinking, like, why do I want to build an email list? Well, if you really want to build a business with your book, because your book, it's really the bottom of your value ladder, and people will want to go deeper with you. They might ask, do you have courses? Do you have other books? Do you do any kind of consulting or coaching? How can I go further with you? I have one client, and she said from her book launch, she made $5,000 within just the first couple of months, because she had a group coaching program, and it was something new that she was launching. And because of her book, she had a reader that was so excited and couldn't wait to, hire her to go further, and made her first $5,000 sale within just 3 months of launching her book. And so, people will want to go further with you. And so by building that email list, you're giving yourself the opportunity to connect with your readers. And here's a really important piece: is reviews. Reviews are so important. And because think about it, if you visit Amazon or any shopping site and you see a product and there's no reviews, right? Don't we kind of hesitate a little bit, like, oh, nobody's reviewed this?
Totally. We need those reviews for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so anyone who's purchased your book, then you can start to send, emails to those people. You can automate that. and just ask people, I would love it if you would, leave a review. You can even give them a step-by-step guide on how to leave an honest review. You
No.
can't bribe people to leave a review. That does go against Amazon's terms and conditions, but there's nothing wrong with just asking people to leave a review, give them the link directly to your book page on Amazon. So all they have to do is click the link to get there. And you can say, hey, here's how to write a review if you're not sure on how to get started, right? So yeah, collecting those emails, asking your readers to leave a review, nurturing them, connecting with them. And ultimately that gives you the opportunity to even perhaps sell them either your next book. I know a lot of authors have more than one book in them. So imagine you already have a group of readers who already love your book, have consumed your content, and now you get a running start when you launch that next book.
Dialing back to like what you talked about earlier about like the sarong and the meditation and all that stuff. Let's explain that a little bit. I remember when I started working with you, you said, well, first of all, I think the first thing you said was to start building like an email list of, people that I could reach out to that could help me launch the book, like friends and family, obviously. And then you like spread it out more, right, into maybe influencers or coaches I've hired or mentors I've hired, and really come up with this whole list, which took a lot of time to do in Excel sheets. And then you said to me, okay, what other value, like you said earlier, are we going to offer them? I never thought of that. So we're asking our list to help us promote our book.
Yeah.
And people are busy, right? And they have their own lives, and promoting my book or your book, if you're writing a book right now, is really not going to be top of, what someone wants to be doing with their life. But if you nudge them a little bit and you offer them things, then it makes a difference. So can you explain that and maybe give some examples like what I used and what other clients of yours use?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we call it an advanced reader campaign. It's also known in the industry as ARC. You may see ARC. But yeah, an advanced reader campaign is a great way to, one, pre-sell books. You're also starting to build a list of people who've already purchased the book, because again, we're going to follow up and ask them to leave a review. And so how the advanced reader campaign works is usually I'll have clients make a list of people in their network. It can be friends and families. It can be colleagues, people in your networking circles that think about groups that you belong to, online groups, in-person groups, right? And just make a list of their name and email. And once you have that list going, and you'd be surprised, you can come up with 30 to 40 names. It won't take as long as you think it will. People sometimes panic. Do I know that many people? But yeah, once you start thinking about networking groups, people that you engage with online, friends and family and colleagues, people that you work with, people who have inspired you even, or other coaches and leaders that you look up to. Build a list. And then what you're going to do is, ask them if they'd be interested in becoming an advanced reader. Let them know you've written a book, what this means to you, how your book is going to change people's lives. And in exchange for them willing to participate, you want to be able to offer them some sort of value. So because you had Back from Bali, you actually sent your advanced readers a sarong, and that was something that was a little bit above and beyond. Usually I don't have clients send a physical product, but it's something you can do. Don't let that hold you back if you have a great idea. Some people send boxes, right? Boxes that are designed to look like the book cover, and they'll put the book inside, and then they'll include things like, bookmarks or t-shirts, hats, it could be different things. I've had clients just buy color padded envelopes on Amazon, and we'll put the copy of the book in there sometimes. And again, with bookmarks or sticky notes or stickers, again, just depending on what the book is about. You don't have to spend a fortune to do it. You may have courses you could give access to, which I think is what we did for you as well.
Yep, it was
a course that you created. So your advanced readers got access to a sarong, they got access to a course, but most importantly, they got access to a digital copy of the book in advance. And again, you could send a physical copy out as well. The reason why we give the digital copy out in advance is we actually want the advanced readers to start reading the book. Because typically we launch the advanced reader campaign maybe 30 to 60 days before the launch date.
Yeah, and I just want to stop you there.
Yeah.
I want everyone to hear that you actually do your marketing campaign. You start it 1 to 2, or even I even think you
Months.
started earlier actually on it, before you're going to publish your book, and then it goes live.
Yep. Yeah. Listen, it takes time to build excitement for the book, right? You want to be posting on social media. I even suggest like giving away a free chapter, which could be considered like a lead magnet in marketing. Again, another way to build a list of people who are interested in reading the book and sort of on your wait list for launch day. But yeah, you definitely want to start marketing, at 30 days to at least 3 months before the book launches, because it just takes time. In marketing, there's something called the rule of 7, which means that your reader is going to have to hear your message 7 times before they take action, right? And so that's what's great about, if you have email, social media, doing things like podcasting like this, any kind of public speaking you could do, or online speaking is great also, participating in podcast appearances. But yeah, so going back to the advanced reader campaign. So that is something you want to launch in advance. It takes a little bit of time. And we're getting an advanced copy to your advanced reader out right away. And the reason for that is we want to give them time to read the book, because come launch day, you're now going to follow up with that advanced reader and say, you've had a chance to read my book. And realistically, we're really emailing the advanced readers almost every week leading up to launch day, just asking how reading's coming along. If you need a copy of the book, here it is again. And we start to prep them for launch day. But when launch day comes, we're going to ask them to post their review. And since they've already had an advanced copy of the book, hopefully they've had time to read it, even if it's a few chapters, so that they can then go on Amazon and start to leave those reviews. So what's happening now, launch day happens. One of the things we asked your advanced readers to do, which I also do with other clients, is we ask them to actually buy the ebook in advance. So we put your ebook available for pre-order. So you had some sales. We actually got you to number 1 in your categories before your launch date.
We did. And just let's stop on that, because that was amazing. So the way it works in Amazon, even my own business in clothing, there's different categories. So I sell in clothing and accessories. Well, in books, there's also different categories. So one of the things you did, I think, is identify which categories, right? Is that right, Patti?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And so, by doing some research, and that's the advantage too of working with somebody who's a book marketing expert, is right. They can help you identify the specific categories that match your book, but that aren't too competitive. Because if we stayed in just self-help, well, self-help is like highly competitive, right? And you could be competing against, people like Michelle Obama. I mean, you just don't know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So we want to try to really narrow down categories, still keep it relevant to what your book is about, because we want readers to find you, but try to see if we can narrow it so it's not in too competitive of a space. But right. So through your advanced reader campaign, we pre-sold books. We got you to number 1. And then we had a group of readers who already read the book. So then launch day comes. Now you're starting to get reviews. And now Amazon algorithm is loving that, because they see, oh, wow, she sold books. She hit number 1. And now she's getting 5-star reviews coming in. Because remember, your advanced reader campaign is usually people in your network. They're probably going to give you a good review. I mean,
absolutely. Of course. They will.
Yeah. And again, you can't bribe them, and you can't ask for a 5-star review. And we never did that. But again, listen, you're just hoping they're going to do you a favor and be extra nice, right? In the review.
Yeah.
So that's why advanced reader campaigns are just so beneficial for authors. 1, it helps you pre-sell books helps you gather early reviews, and then perhaps even, hit that number one spot before launch day even happens.
And I think this is for a new author who really doesn't know this world at all. I don't think anyone knows this, and this part of it is that in order to sell a book, launch a book, you're actually supposed to pre-sell a book. So, as you mentioned, my advanced readers already pre-purchased my book for 99 cents, the Kindle edition, months before it was even, or 1 month, I think 1 month almost before it was before they were actually going
Right.
to do it. Okay. So this is a whole world. I always say to people who are wanting to do anything they want to do in their business is that we don't know what we don't know. And that's why it's so important over and over again to hire people who know what to do when we don't really know what we're doing. And I love that, I was such a newbie and I kept going, what? We're going to give away what? How are they going to buy it? And I mean, the whole thing was such a new idea for me.
Yeah.
And you just helped me through every aspect of it as well, which was so wonderful. So yeah, you did fantastic.
Yeah. And something really important too, for anyone watching who's already written a book, what's great is you can relaunch your book again and again. So if you didn't do an advanced reader campaign when you first
Mm,
launch your book, do it again during your relaunch. Sometimes people call it a book birthday. Sometimes people call it a relaunch. I think Mike McCallowitz said it, once you have a book, you're always marketing your book. And it's true. Think about the major brands that we use, right? They still advertise their products. They're in our face all the time, even though they're household names, right? They're just always marketing their products. And so you want to be thinking about that with your book. You always want to be talking about your book. And maybe when you get closer to your relaunch date, maybe 30 to 60 days before, start to just talk about it more and post about it more and do more podcasts that are focused around your book. So you can relaunch your book. You can still incorporate these strategies. It's not like, I already launched my book, I can't do it again. Yeah, you can totally do it again.
Oh, I love that. And I heard someone else say something else similar, which is your book is not egg salad. It
Yeah.
doesn't go bad.
Yeah. That's so good. Yeah, I love that.
Such a good one, because we think, okay, we launch a book, we sell the book, and now whatever, it's 6 months later, 1 year later, 2 year later, and we're like, oh, I did it already. Well, no, it lives on, and you could do the audio version of it next.
Yeah.
You could do all kinds of things. The one other thing that we did that you suggested, which I really ended up loving, was a launch party that
Yeah.
we did, right? We did an online party. Can you talk a little bit about that too?
Yeah, so that party was a bonus that you offered to anyone who purchased your book. So during our pre-launch and launch phase, for people not in your inner circle, so those not invited to become an advanced reader, we did offer some special gifts to anyone who pre-ordered your book or purchased it during launch week. And one of those gifts was an invitation to a really special conference that or event, launch party, we could say, but that
Yeah.
featured, other successful women. And it was great having them come on and share their stories and just teach your audience, lessons they learned, maybe what they might have done different, and really just share their knowledge. And you offered that for free, again, to anyone who pre-ordered your book or purchased it during launch week. So that was a really special gift that they got. And yeah, and you know what? It's fun too. And a lot of times I tell clients, invite your family, invite your kids. I know one author, he invited his mom and she started crying, but it was like so cute, right? I mean, who's going to hate on that? It was just the sweetest thing. So definitely make it a party, invite, those closest to you, to have them come on and just talk about, what this process was like for them, because, writing a book, it's a very emotional journey. It can feel, I think, stressful at times.
Mhm.
So it's so fun just to hear, stories from friends and family who watched you go through it or even supported you through it.
Yeah, it really culminated into one event, which is this big launch party, virtual launch party. And it was really exciting to do it. And I love doing that. And even as the party was going on, we can see like the ranking, that had just hit the bestseller list. So I was able to announce that too. So Patti, this has been absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to just put up on screen here your website. So can you just tell people how to reach you? If anybody's thinking of writing a book, has written a book, wants to relaunch their book, I can't recommend Patti more. So go ahead, Patti, and tell everybody how to contact you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can visit my website. I have a chat button there, or there's a contact form there. You can also email me direct at patty@pattyzorr.com, and it is Patti with an I.
I have that.
You got it right. You got it right, but
I
think a lot of people know it with a Y, so I just like to say, don't forget it's Patti with an I. It's right. You got it right.
Good. I'm glad. Well, thank you again, Patti. This is gold. This stuff is gold because, as I said, you don't know what you don't know. And everybody, whatever you're doing, if you're launching a new business, going to e-commerce, which is what I do, selling physical products, if you're in the service industry, you always hire someone who is an expert in what it is that you want to be doing. And that's what I did. And that is why my book became a bestseller and continues to sell. So thank you, Patti, so much. And thank you, everybody, for being on She Rises. If anyone's interested in being on She Rises, definitely contact me at lesliekuster.com, or you can email me at leslie@lesliekuster.com. And I will see you next time on She Rises. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Patti.